We've all heard of Hormozi's Grand Slam offer equation, but in the real world, does it really work? Now, in this video, what I'm going to do is show you how we created our hugely successful offer in a space that is rife and oversaturated with competition, okay? But before we go into the components of actually how to create an e-com email marketing offer, what I'm going to do quickly is just go over very shortly how Hormozi actually defines his Grand Slam offer as being, okay? So what Hormozi says is basically the Grand Slam offer is something that you present to the marketplace that cannot be compared to any other product or service out there that's available. And in his value equation, what he does is he basically explains that the Grand Slam offer is made up of the relationship between four component parts. Now, these four component parts can be seen on my screen now, okay? So the first one here is the dream outcome. The second is perceived likelihood of achievement. The third is time delay. And the final and fourth one is effort and sacrifice. Okay, so the dream outcome is basically what the prospect wants and what they need. Perceived likelihood of achievement is how your prospect will actually know that it's going to happen for them. What guarantee do they have? Then it's the third component here, which is the time delay. So how long is it actually going to take your prospect to achieve that desired outcome? And then what's the level of effort and sacrifice that they're going to have to put in on their part? Okay, how hard are they going to have to work and what's expected from them? Well, the problem is, when it comes to email marketing, even if you do these four key things correctly, it doesn't always lead to value. And it doesn't lead to value that the marketplace, aka e-commerce brands worldwide, actually want, okay? And the problem is that everybody is pitching the same offer. And the same offer that everybody's pitching has basically come from one of the leading platforms in the game, okay? So if you're an email marketer, you'll already be familiar with Klaviyo already. But what Klaviyo has basically said is that with using Klaviyo as a platform, if you're an e-commerce brand, they will help you generate above 30% of your monthly recurring revenue through email and SMS, okay? And because you and I, when I first started this journey, and other people that are creating their own email marketing agencies start off selecting Klaviyo as the tool to use, which they should, they don't use their brain, they don't think critically, and they just think, well, what I'll do is I will copy the offer from Klaviyo, and surely that's what I will be able to pitch my clients. So if you're one of these people and your offer looks like this, if you're not making 30% of your monthly recurring revenue from email and SMS, then you're leaving money on the table. If that's you, or if this is you, we'll grow your revenue from email to 30%, or you don't pay. Or if this is you, if you make less than 30% of your revenue from email and SMS, we can help, okay? If this is you and this is one of your offer, or your offer looks like this is the reason you're not getting any traction. This is the reason you're not booking calls. This is the reason you are not able to close clients, okay? It's all stemming from your offer. Now, every single time the wording changes slightly here, but the offer is the same. The pitch still stays the same. And the problem here is that brands don't like agencies, okay? They do not trust them and they don't believe them. Moreover, brands don't always think in terms of percentages, okay? So the brand owner seeing your offer might not even know how much revenue they're currently driving from email and SMS, or they might think, actually, we're doing 5% or 20%, and we're really happy with that, okay? So speaking to percentages is an element of this offer that doesn't work. And we're going to go into three things that you must do with your email marketing offer right now if you want to start booking more calls and closing more clients, okay? So the truth is, you have to have an offer that truly appeals to the type of client that you're trying to close. Okay, so instead of you trying it yourself from this video, what you're going to be able to do is simply copy what's worked for us over the last 5 years of doing this, okay? So the first step here is to call out your ICPs indirectly. So if you have an offer that says, we help e-commerce brands, or we help brand owners, or whatever it might be, where you are overtly stating the type of client that you work with, all this is going to do is basically give these prospective clients a bit of an inclination that you don't know what you're talking about, and actually you don't have a lot of experience in this industry, okay? What other companies reach out to their clients, with specific direct wording like this, who are also confident in what they do? They just don't, okay? I can't really even think of any other examples, but there's a big difference between saying, we help e-commerce brand owners do this, to then actually indirectly referencing your ideal client prospects and profiles through the use of jargon and key terms, okay? So instead of saying we help e-commerce brands directly, relate and refer to your ideal clients through the use of jargon, okay? So talk about AOVs, average order values, lifetime value of your customers, abandoned carts, placed orders, and drop that jargon into your offer, okay? So instead of saying we help e-commerce brands do this, or we help e-commerce brand owners overcome this. Tell them this is what we do. We'll help you increase, revenue collection from abandoned carts, or we increase abandoned cart recovery. We increase lifetime value of your customer, whatever it might be. Reference the jargon specifically, and that will indirectly call out your ICPs. Okay, it will show that your offer is relevant and that you are an expert, and that's important in the first instant. Okay, now tip 2 is to state finances and not percentages. So percentages are arbitrary. Okay, a 5% uplift, a 10%, 12%, 25% might be good for one person, but it might be bad for another, okay, in their opinion. So focus on stating financial value that the client can expect to achieve, okay? So instead of 20%, you talk about 60K, okay? And this really small, slight strategic change is going to do you a world of good when getting traction and replies in your cold outreach, okay? So focus on stating the financial value, and in any case, use a range, okay? So if you're stating 60K, open up the range to 220K, and that's going to help you further personalize your outreach messaging and also show that your clients that your service is relevant to them, okay? So remember, percentages are arbitrary, they're subjective, focus on financial numbers and use a range, all right? Now, the third tip here when it comes to actually creating an email marketing offer is to reposition yourself and what you're selling. Okay, so again, instead of coming across as every other marketing agency owner, there's just another marketing agency in the industry, focus on actually leveraging the distrust that brands have for agencies. Okay, so almost every brand out there, depending on the size of the company and how long they've been in business, has worked with an agency or a freelancer or a third-party service provider that has overpromised, undelivered, and basically burnt them from the experience. Okay, so leverage this in your outreach. Do not state anywhere that you're a marketing agency. Don't say that we're going to help you with marketing, whatever it might be. Stay clear from the word marketing, okay? Yes, it's what you do. Yes, it's a service you deliver, but I promise you, if you're plastering this all over your landing page and your sales assets, this will be one of the main reasons you're not attracting the clients you want, okay? So focus on leveraging that distrust, and instead of promoting the fact that you deliver a ongoing service, maybe you are trying to lock them into contracts or charge retainers, change the wording to the fact that you actually will deliver for them a system or a build, a physical build or an infrastructure, okay? And this is what we do, guys. So you can click the link below. There's no pressure to do so, but it will give you an idea of a little bit about what we do as an agency and what we can do for you in the infrastructure that we provide, okay? So all of this is going to help you reposition yourself in the market, and your position dictates your perceived level of value and your price, okay? So if you've got terrible positioning, you're going to have a low perceived value and you're only going to be able to charge low prices, okay? And we want all of these metrics to increase and be high, okay? So do something different. If you look like an agency and you sound like an agency, the client will know that they're going to be treated like every other agency if they engage with you, which they will not, okay? So putting all of these components together and looking at what a good email marketing offer looks like, I don't just want to give you theory here. I want to give you something you can take away from this video, okay? So this offer will be a good starting point for you. I've literally just written it down a second ago when I was creating this mirror board. And what you've got to pull away from this is just the key elements we talked about, okay? So you can see that we've got a range. You can see that we call out our ICPs, our ideal client profiles, through verbiage and slogans and jargons, as opposed to we help e-commerce brands do, okay? We tell them we do this through a proprietary infrastructure, and we also help them to understand exactly what area of the brand we can help with, which is retention marketing, email and SMS. And we give them the time frame that nobody else can compete on, okay? So this really is one of our USPs as an agency. It's also one of our USPs with the information that you're going to see in the link below if you click it. It's something that only we can do and only we are doing. Nobody else in the marketplace does this, and this is ultimately how we've been able to create our own Grand Slam offer. Okay, and another component here is we've thrown in a guarantee here that I've got other videos on how to create guarantees. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop any of your questions in the comments below. Click the link in the description if you want to learn more about this infrastructure and book a call with me. And until next time, I'll speak to you soon. All right, cheers.